Question 1. What is...
The YouTube API gave me 50 videos, and that was the problem. That doesn't necessarily mean there's only 50. So I made the app detect a full result set, split the date range, and keep searching until it stops hitting the limit. Quick bonus, before we start building, I've added a free complete SwiftUI project in the description. You can download it, open it in Xcode and study how the finished iOS app is structured. If this helped you, hit like, subscribe for more real SwiftUI app builds, and comment below what iOS app you'd like me to build next. The first thing we need to do is to create our models. So let's create a new file called models. I'm starting with the API models because they're at the bottom of the dependency graph. They don't know anything about SwiftUI, the view model or the networking implementation. They simply describe the data coming back from YouTube. So I just copy some of these structs to start with. I will keep the API response defensive here. A result doesn't enter my main video collection until I have a valid video ID. So downstream code gets a stronger guarantee than the raw response gives me. I centralize the thumbnail selection here so every view doesn't have to repeat the high, medium, then default fallback logic. The next thing we need to do is to create another file. This will be for our string extension. YouTube titles may include encoded HTML elements or entities. That's why we need this extension. I'll just copy the property. The next file we need to create is for our YouTube service protocol. So let's do that now. YouTube service import foundation. Then we create our protocol YouTube service. Our protocol has one single function at the moment. I hide the YouTube API behind the protocol because I want the view model tied directly. Now that's incorrect. I do not want the view model tied directly to the URL session. It means I can swap in different types of mock services in the test without changing the view model. So that's the purpose of using the protocol. It makes it more testable and easier to maintain. So a protocol includes the following function signature that should be published before, string, channel ID, string, so that should be YouTube search response or YT search response. We've got the YouTube data models in place, but the app still can't fetch or save anything yet. In the next episode, we'll connect to the real API with async, await, and add local caching. That's where the app starts becoming useful.